Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have a gripe. Now, I am a foundational Black American, which means that I was born in America, my parents were born in America, my grandparents and so on are very close history and they were part of slavery. I believe my father, who would be 106 this year had he lived, his father was freed by the Emancipation Proclamation because his father was alleged to be in his 70s when he was born. Therefore, he would be 178 or so right now, I believe. If you guys are able to, know your history, great for you. You can know or name your grandparents, your great grandparents, and so on and so forth. I do not have that luxury. I can truthfully only go back to my grandparents. After that, it's like it may or may not be. So that's where I stand, and that's my history. But as a child, my mother had told me where you come from is not as important as where you're going. And that was during that roots era where mostly foundational Black Americans were trying to figure out, like, where did I come from? And I know I did my 23andMe DNA, and I am almost like a 90% African and a 10%, mostly my Caucasian blood is Irish, and then my African blood is mostly West, and then it has like a 28%, I believe the last time I checked, about 28% Nigerian, but those are my roots. So for Jamal Bryant to call out foundational African Americans for voting differently or for having different beliefs than he does is kind of not nice coming from a religious figure. And I just think for myself that Martin Luther King Jr., Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. would not approve of especially foundational Black Americans being gaslighted into groupthink or thinking a certain way or having to vote a certain way. And some even joke about, like, just have one person vote. If only Blacks are considered one vote, vote this way, and always have to vote that way. But Jamal Bryant said that they're runaway slaves. He labeled Blacks as runaway slaves. And just come to think, does he know what a runaway slave really is? Among some other names he stated, and they were really bad, derogatory names, but a runaway slave is a person who escaped slavery. Now, you think of a person who escaped slavery as someone that did not agree with being less than a man or less than a woman, because as we know, we had male and females breaking away from slavery. Now, this painting that you're viewing right now is a painting that I did of such runaway slave. You can see how his body is really beaten and he's in chains, but look at the proud expression on his face. He is refusing to buckle down and he's getting beaten. This is a famous picture, and it's just my depiction of it. When I look at this painting, I see fierce determination, free leader, strength, power, determination. I may have already said that, but it's just something about this man and his fierce look is like he is mentally free. Now, it would be nice if Jamal Bryant would issue an apology to those foundational Black Americans who have independent thinking. But let's see what a runaway slave looks like. Sojourner Truth, runaway slave Harriet Tubman, and another runaway slave was Frederick Douglass. So as I said, for Jamal Bryant to say they are runaway slaves as if it's something a conscious person should utter as an insult or feel a foundational Black American should not be, is kind of shameful. Hopefully he issues an apology, but you know how they say pride comes before a fall and a haughty spirit before destruction. Martin Luther King Jr. said that someday he hoped that his children, his 4 children, would be judged by the content of their character and not the color of their skin. And it's sad that race baiting is happening by Black leaders where everyone is grouped into color. Now, I understand there are situations or moments where color is used or someone is attacked, but it should not be an attack coming from a foundational Black person or another Black person against a foundational Black person for having an independent thought. At 62 years of age, I was born the youngest of 16, if you count the stillborn that was full term, and 15 if you don't count the stillborn. 14 made it to adulthood because one of my brothers died when he was 2 years old. Of the 14 that made it to adulthood, not one was in prison. This is not rocket science. 2-parent home, 1 father, 2 parents working together to raise the children, 2 parents responsible for the children they created. This is not rocket science. Rich people pointing to other rich people, talking about the poor people being like them is funny to me. Let's look at some statistics that can be changed if we can change their direction instead of focusing on color and focus on people.